out there in YouTube, Facebook land, every place else, and watching this on GeekyKOOL.com. We are here at, we're actually here the night before
Hi, everyone.
Planet Comic Con. This is Brian. I'm Larry. GeekyKOOL.com. We're going to talk
Mike's
a little
right
bit.
over there.
Say hi to Mike, everybody. Hi, Mike. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Planet Comic Con, our what we're hoping to see, especially day one, because tomorrow is day one. Always an exciting day. And a lot of times on day one, we go and find comic book artists and creators to get signatures, because it's a lot easier on day one on Friday than it is on Saturday to do. And some of them aren't there on Sunday. So, and sometimes on Sunday there's panels, everything else going on, and there's also a bunch of panels coming on. So Brian, what are you excited about Planet Comic Con? Anybody excited you're going to see anything you want to do?
Excited about people like Jim Starlin,
Yes,
Giffen.
yes. Classics.
Right. I'm a little disappointed that there aren't some of the newer people here. You got Doug Mankey and Patrick Gleason, which are kind of that new breed. Cullen Bunn is obviously here because he's just down the road in Springfield with us.
And Cullen Bunn's amazing, so yes. I'm glad he's here. So.
Yeah, and but unlike last year, which is kind of interesting because this is the 20th year.
It is
not. They don't have any big stars coming in on the comic book side this year.
Right.
Like last year, they had Snyder and Capullo,
right.
and Tom King and Clay Mann, and I'm just a little disappointed. Arthur Adams from the Marvel side was here.
Right, he certainly was.
And part of that's because WonderCon's this week. So
WonderCon is this week in California. Is it LA that it's at, or is it San Francisco?
It's LA.
Okay, it's LA.
It is.
So LA's having their big convention the same weekend, which is a bummer, especially on the comic book side. We do have some celebrity guests that are going to be here. We've got William Shatner.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big name for the 20th anniversary. Carrie Ellis. And some other people from Princess Bride. Who else is it? Anybody else?
The actress who plays Ginny Weasley is going to be
that's
here,
right.
and
the
Weasley twins are going to be here,
that's right.
so that's going to be kind of cool.
Harry Potter fans.
Some of the people from the CW shows are going to be here. Panna Baker.
Yeah,
and
Panna Baker. Big Disney star for you Disney fans out there from
she
Disney
was
Channel.
From here, Sky High.
From Sky High. She was in Sky High.
Yeah.
So she was in a lot
Unfortunately,
of
I do know also that she was in at least one Hallmark Channel Christmas show, because you know how everyone in my family except me loves the Hallmark Channel Christmas specials.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I have 2 weeks of hell in July and 6 weeks of hell end of November to December. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
So a lot of big celebrities. There's not as many comic book celebrities. Now there are, like we said, some classic comic book creators going to be here. Chris Claremont's going to be here again. As you mentioned, Jim Starlin. Straczynko is going to be here. I'm trying to think of some other ones. McLeod is going to be here. Bob McLeod, who did a lot of the writing on some of... did a lot of the drawing on a lot of the New Mutants, the early stuff with Chris Claremont. Also did some Spider-Man stuff.
Mark Bagley's going to be here, which is he's a
huge Bagley fan. Yeah, a lot.
Dennis Cohen is going to be here from The Question.
Right. You mentioned Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Wow, what a name! I always get tripped up on that. And
for a big artist, you need a big name.
That's true, and he is a big-time artist. Now, I do have a funny thing that I'm bringing for him to sign, because he did a lot more DC stuff, and I don't have as much DC. I know you're much more of a DC guy, but I'll show the group what I got here, because this is probably the work that he's not going to love that I brought, because it did not do as well.
I think this is awesome.
It's called Atari Force. It was from the 80s, from early 80s, when Atari was a big thing. I got 1 and 2 issue for him to sign. And I just love it. I thought it was a great sci-fi comic book. I think it was really underappreciated, but
I had the Atari 2600
the video game. Yeah, I always thought that was cool. I never had the video game, but I always thought it was cool. Any comics you're excited that you're going to get signed?
I've got Cosmic Odyssey for Jim Starlin, and even though I have Infinity Gauntlet #1 and all that kind of stuff, everybody gets a copy of that signed. So I brought one of Jim Starlin's first things he did for DC, that when he went over to DC and did it on his own, called Gilgamesh 2.
Yep.
It's a prestige format comic, and that'll be fun to see whether or not he's like, no one ever brings this to me.
Right, exactly.
But I've got that, and
now you are getting some things signed that probably everybody brings for Keith Giffen.
I got Ambush Bug.
Yeah,
the first Ambush Bug series, and I've got the first issue of the Legion of Superheroes reboot that he did, the 5-year jump.
Right.
And I've got Justice League #1,
which is a pretty good one.
Yeah, and Justice League #50, which was his last issue.
There you go. Yeah, and I also have some Giffen stuff because Ambush Bug is a great character. I just love Ambush Bug also. So I've got the first issue of the miniseries. I didn't bring the whole thing, but I did bring Ambush Bug 0, which is kind of making fun of Batman Year One and those. And then I've also brought issue 7 of the 6-issue miniseries because, of course, it'd be Keith Giffen.
We skipped number 7 and we waited 4 months.
It was
skip number 6.
Skip number 6, and it was a year coming out. It was a full year when it came out, so I had to bring that. And I also brought an issue of Legion that I had. A lot of the Legion stuff I have is my father's Legion stuff, so I don't have access to it without going to his house.
And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually cataloging my comics, and I'll give a plug later to the software we use.
Please do.
Not a plug. We're not paid by them or anything like that, but the software's awesome.
We would love to have them as a sponsor for Geeky Cool, for the videos, anything they want to do. They're great software. We would promote the snot out of them because they're awesome.
Software's made in Denmark, so I don't think they're probably watching right now.
But not yet. But maybe they will later. I'm hoping somebody sees this and finds them.
I wish it was live and we had feedback.
We could have
our fans yelling, Mike.
We do have this live. This is actually live on Facebook and YouTube right now. So we're doing this live. Some of the things that I'm excited about is with Chris Claremont's one of my favorite writers because I was a big X-Men fan in the 80s. And also he did a little-known offshoot called The New Mutants. I had him sign New Mutants #1 last year, along with my very first X-Men issue, which was the introduction of Kitty Pryde. This year, X-Men New Mutants #18, the first issue of the Demon Bear saga. This is what they were trying to base the movie off of that may or may not.
The Demon Bear saga?
The Demon Bear. The Demon Bear is the best-known New Mutant story. This is actually where the New Mutants really go into a horror comic with this. So superpowers with horror comic. I also have special edition X-Men, which is a reprint of the X-Men Giant, which basically Claremont rebooted the X-Men, gave them new characters in life from a group that was not going anywhere, basically just showing reprints to being the most popular Marvel comic book group of the 80s and most of the 90s. And Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. My favorite X-Men is Kitty Pryde, and this is her team up with Wolverine, who you don't really expect she's going to jive with because he's kind of a hard, cold killer at this level, at this time in it. And Kitty Pryde is the sweetest, cutest thing ever. It's kind of like Terra from the Teen Titans, but she's actually nice. Terra was horrible.
She was just misunderstood.
She tried to kill them.
She was the Judas. Well,
she was the Judas.
You're only a Judas if you betray them at the very end. She betrayed him from the very beginning.
Well, that's true. Amanda Connor and her husband
Jimmy
Palmiotti will be here. Those are pretty big names, and I've got several things for Amanda Connor to sign. Let's see, anything else that I'm missing?
Well.
Of course. Steve McNevin, big time Marvel artist. Amazing Spider-Man, Civil War, Return of Wolverine, Marvel Legacy. I've got some really cool stuff for him to sign, along with Bagley and Jason Aaron, and of course Colin Bunn. So we've got a lot of stuff. I've got 2 of these boxes to sign comics, and we'll be covering the convention, but we're also going to be doing fan stuff. I don't know where Brian went. I guess he went to get his boxes.
I'd be right back. I thought I would bring
He's going to do his little, after these messages, we'll be right back, little sketch. Mike could fill in now, but Mike's now naked running around over here. So, say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Good.
So, are you excited about anything, Mike? What do you want to see tomorrow at the convention?
You can be the disembodied voice.
Yeah, this is the voice of, not God, this is the voice of Mike.
I'm excited about watching this as an audience member.
All right. Yeah, Mike didn't want to join us. I tried to strong arm him. I tried to get him in a headlock, and he.
You know
just
who you
doesn't want
didn't
to join.
mention is Babs Tarr was a late addition.
Yeah, Babs
and
Tarr.
From Batgirl, that's where I've got stuff
Yep.
for her. So I've got some stuff for her to sign. Freddie Williams, the second, who did JSA All Stars for DC.
Yep.
That was one of the series that I've got for him. And the one I was surprised because I didn't realize he was going to be here is, and I'm going to butcher his last name.
I hate that.
Oliver Copiel or Coipel. He was the artist for the Magic Order that he did with Mike Millar, and I've got all of those and love them. They are not for young kids. There's a bit of a strong R.
So when you're saying that, you're telling me not all comic books are written for kids, unlike what a certain comedian said a while back.
Oh, let's not even get started about that idiot. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Stanley didn't deserve that.
Nor did his fans. So anyway, but yeah, I'm.
Let's
maybe that's. Let's see. Panel wise, what are we excited about seeing tomorrow? Panel wise, coming up. So you've got some other stuff. Go ahead and show me what you got there.
Here's a cover.
Yeah.
That is tame compared to what's inside of that book. But amazing story. Mark Miller did a really good job on the writing on that. I very much enjoyed it. Lots of nice twists all the way through. And excited to see Patrick Gleason. He was there last year. He was great. And then I realized I've got other comics for him. I've got some Green Lantern Corps when they rebooted that book. Of course, his Young Justice book. He's doing the artwork there is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Very much enjoying that.
Yeah.
It is the classic Superboy, the classic Kid Flash. Bart is back.
Right.
And all kinds of stuff.
So if you have watched the Young Justice cartoon and you were a fan of it like we were, but disappointed when it got canceled, and
which it's back now, it's part of DC Universe.
If you want to pay the monthly fee to DC, and I've not heard how that is currently. I know that I've heard great things about some of the shows over there, but,
and it's not just shows. You get digital you can read comics digitally. You don't add them to your collection, but you can read comics. And they don't have everything out there, but a lot of their comics have been digitized, and you can read them.
So with your subscription to this show, you also get that. And I didn't realize that, because that actually does make a difference, because just to watch the shows, I was like, I don't think I'm going to pay the money for
there's
that.
more to it than just those TV shows.
If you're going to watch more of the TV shows. And I knew they had some of the movies. You could watch the old television shows. You could watch the old movies. You can watch the original Superman movie on it. But I just wasn't sure that was for me. But yeah, that would make a difference if you can get some free comics. Sometimes, as a fan, you just want to read the comics. You don't need to collect it. You may be like, I'm interested, but I'm not so interested. I want to put this in another box. It's going to sit in the closet or at Brian's house and collect dust while waiting for, magically for somebody to sign it for you. Which is cool when you do get the sign. That's the one problem with the digital comics, I think, is because they've made it where they're very readable on a device now, but being able to get a signature on it at a convention, that's not possible. So that's kind of the downfall of that. But if you start reading it there and you discover you like it, you a lot of times go back and get the back issues. Unless, of course, they have some sort of big introduction character that makes that back issue worth $500 or something crazy. So, yeah. Well, how about panels tomorrow? Because we're going to send some panels to be able to report on while we're there, along with walking the floor. But what panel-wise are you excited about?
Let's see. There is, of course, the app is taking a little bit to come down here, but there was a Well, there's a Remembering Stan Lee panel,
Right.
which is interesting.
That is.
And there's a William Shatner Q&A panel
No,
tomorrow.
that's only a 30-minute panel. Most of the panels with the stars are an hour presentation. So I'm thinking he's going to have another one, but I haven't verified that. I thought that was interesting that it was only a 30-minute panel with him. Because I'd like to see Shatner. Shatner's 88 years old, so if you are a fan of Star Trek or a fan of William Shatner and you don't have his autograph, this is the weekend to come get it. It's going to cost you a little bit of money to get in. It's going to cost you money to pay to get his autograph. But the man is 88. Don't wait till he passes away like Stan Lee did and regret that you didn't get an autograph.
Right. There's an Across the Spider-Verse, which
Yes.
I'm interested in. Mark Bagley's going to be there, which I always
I'm
liked
with
him
you
as an
there.
artist.
Yes.
And there's a Comics from Space from Legion to Guardians, which is Jason Aaron and Colin Bunn and Keith Giffen and Jim Starlin, which we still haven't figured
Because
out.
of the
if
cosmic connection.
late, well, but if it's later in the day, because I thought he was only Saturday and Sunday.
And that may be true. Yeah,
Maybe
I
he's
don't
coming
know.
in just later.
You're right. I'm not sure. Maybe he's coming in later. He's not going to be on the floor.
And Saturday, there's a Defining the DC Comic look with Amanda Connor and Patrick Gleason and Doug Mankey, which some great artists, and I'll be going to that one. There's a Michael Rosenbaum, Tom Welling, and Dean Cain together.
Yeah. So, two people from Smallville, one from Lois and Clark, showing up talking about playing Superman and Lex on television, which is kind of a cool thing. So, yeah.
And there's a VIP. Oh, that's a VIP session. I probably won't be going to that one because I'm not going to go pay to see anyone. DC CW Verse, and that's the one that's got Danielle Pennebaker. Oh, and John Wesley Shipp is coming.
That's right. That's right.
Forgot about that.
Original Flash from the 90s Flash, also on the new Flash series, is Earth 2 Flash, also known as Jay Garrick. So, yes.
Or I think Earth 31 from the crossover series.
Oh, is it? Okay,
this year,
I thought
he was from a different Earth.
Was he from a different Earth
Yeah.
this year?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the crossover yet this year, but yes.
Yeah. And then Sunday, Keith Giffen and some others are in a series called Making Good Bad Guys.
Yeah.
And that's Keith Giffen, Fabian Nietzsche,
Fabian
Jim
Nietzsche's
Starlin.
one that I missed saying. He's an excellent.
I have no idea who Ian McCraig is or Frank Thierry, but they may be Marvel people that I'm just not aware of.
Yeah.
What's it say? He's from Glasgow. Well, that should be fun to hear him. No one will be able to understand what he says because he's Scottish and he'll talk like he's got a mouthful of marbles.
Unless he's an actor, then he'll talk in really good English. But
I
don't know.
Anyway, so that one sounds like a good one for Sunday. And then Cullen Bunn has one with Cullen, Chris Claremont, and Steve McNiven on time travel and social injustice. Why the X-Men matter. Should be interesting.
That is interesting. I agree. Yeah, the X-Men have always been, kind of breaking through those barriers, talking about racial issues in a different way. So, and now taking it further. So, all right. I think that's all we've got for right now, unless there's anything you want to add for tomorrow. I mean, doors open at 1 o'clock. Will call opens at 11 for Friday. Saturday's time is it 10, I believe, 10 a.m.? And then Sunday.
So, and if you're going to come, be aware that there is a NCAA men's Sweet 16 regional game going on here, or the games are going on in Kansas City.
Right.
So it's going to be a busy weekend, and parking should be
because the games are downtown also, just like what the comic convention is with Planet Comic Con. It is their 20th year, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, you're right. The parking can be a problem. So know that. Plan that ahead of time. Also, if you're going to try to come like one of the days and get in line, come early because those lines grow long quickly to get in. So you want to get it early.
And if it's going to be raining and cold, like they're talking about, you may be standing outside. So
right, and that's very possible. I think that covers it for now. Just keep tuned because we'll be doing some more videos, and of course we'll be posting articles about the different sessions, about meeting people, probably meeting different artists and creators. So we'll be posting different things. It's always fun to walk the floor because you never know what you're going to find up there. There's going to be awesome cosplay going on, and Mike will hopefully get dressed by then, not be running around naked at the con.
Hate when he gets play.
I hate when he gets arrested, though.
He's playing the character from Mystery Men.
The Invisible Kid.
Invisible when he takes off his clothes.
Right,
No one
take
can
off his
see him.
clothes, right. I know, I'm not seeing him now when he's naked. So.
Well, you close your eyes every time you look that way.
All right, for GeekyKOOL.com, I'm Larry, and this is Brian. We're out of here.
Bye, guys.
Maybe, if I can actually find the thing that says stop.
You get it. You get it.
Stop recording.